all ages. This is your favorite time of the week, wrestling chat with friends, and I am.
Meow, meow.
We got the cool analog pop up now with the logo, Elliot. That was pretty dope. I am Mega Rickman Blackwood, your favorite heel in heels, and we are super excited to all be in one place at one time. As always, I am joined by the collector, Elliot. What's up?
I am here. I am present. I am accounted for, and I'm accountable. I have missed you guys, missed the fam. Good to have everyone here for this week. There's a lot to get to, so we will make it quick. I think I had a take last week that I think is not going to age very well. I said that everything's a work. All the boys in the back get along just fine. That doesn't appear to be the case. So I'm just gonna drop these two right now. There is something going on here, probably even a larger issue than these two guys. But this is kind of what the wrestling world's been talking about for the last week. And we're an hour away to find out if Hangman's going to respond. So here's Clutcher's Choice, CM Punk, Hangman Page. Let's get it on.
Let's get it on. And we are, of course, joined by our producer extraordinaire, Cheats 26 Belts.
Who belts?
But today I'm going to be the collector as well, as I have some AEW mail call as well. Ricky Starks, one of the show's favorites, is here. We got another show favorite, Eddie Kingston, is here. I also have, for the women's division, very excited, Jade Cargill, our TBS champion, undefeated, and Thunder, I don't know if you can see that, Thunder Rosa, the AEW women's champion, all came in today. Shout out to AEW for making great figures, but also Ringside Collectibles for being able to make them available and purchase. And mail call, you never know when it's going to come, but it's very, very exciting.
My plan is nearly complete. We are almost a toy show now.
We're basically a toy show now.
We do have a lot. It's good though. It's beautiful. I have my wonderful new FTR shirt, which makes me super happy. We're just supporting AEW left and right this way, and I think that's a great thing to do. Now, we do have a massive Dynamite coming up tonight. So, guys, let's look back to the week that led up to where we're at now. I know there was some stuff going on other shows and stuff, so if you want to pop for that, feel free. I think it's whack. So let's start with you, the collector. What are you popping for this week?
Well, as I said in my Collector's Choice segment, I made a probably historically bad call last week. It appears as though we are not in some long-term booking work scenario. Tony Khan's the greatest creative writer of all time. There appears to be a little bit of animosity in the locker room, which pops me because I think it leads to the possibility of more dramatic television. However, it's a fine line to walk, and it can also, a locker room, just like a business, it can go sour and bad too. And if you are someone who does follow online dirt sheets, rumors, it's really sort of a split. There's two splits here. We have pro Punk and anti-Punk, it would appear. A lot of people who were cheering Punk's return are now seemingly turning on him, saying this is who he's been all along. I sort of have never gone too deep down the rabbit hole to form intense personal feelings about these individuals who are entertaining me. It's a tough business. I kind of want to respect all of them, but I'm popping for the drama of what could potentially happen this week if everybody from Tony on down can maybe put their egos on ice, which is the hardest thing to ask a wrestler to do. So put their egos on ice and move it forward. But it potentially the next 3-4 weeks with some returns and to see how this real life drama is playing out. That's what's got me popped this week. Anticipation.
Big facts. I'm actually popping for kind of an esoteric concept as well. I'm popping for the concept of being correct. Because when CM Punk came back, one thing I said, go back, run the tape. I said that the only person that could turn Punk heel was Punk and Punk's ego. And I think throughout the MJF feud, we got a good, little taste of this. And now with what happened with the Hangman call out, with the way he's behaving to the greatest two-time AEW champion of all time, Jon Moxley, I feel very vindicated in my opinion that the only person that could turn Punk is Punk. And shoot, I don't care. I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying wrestling again. And I think in this day and age, like, it's a lot harder to get worked in like a traditional way of like, oh, this crazy thing happened on the show, and like I'm, the character development got me. Like, I think the dirt sheets is part of it, right? Like, now we're getting worked on like this whole new level of like, oh, there's rumors coming out of the locker room. Oh, so and so has report. I'm here for it. Bring on the carny goodness. I can't wait to see how it plays out tonight. Cheats, what about you?
Well, I am really, really glad I get to go last on this segment,
Yeah.
because I am popping for our very special guest.
This is
that will be
wouldn't tell us.
This is becoming that will be coming on very, very shortly, because we have done a thing and we're very excited about the thing that we did.
You can say the Royal Week, because we don't know.
Well, Elliot, do we need to lead? Is there any lead up to this? Do we
Megan,
need
you've been speaking. You've been speaking for me for quite a while now.
That is true.
No, I'm very much in the know, Megan. Right. I know exactly who our surprise guest is.
Yeah, he knows.
Why didn't you tell me? Why am I the one?
There's a reason for that.
There's a reason. Is there a build? Should we just? Is there a build up, or should we go? I don't know what to do here.
We're gonna bring the guest on.
Okay.
Mark's gonna bring him on. Megan, my request of you is that you just sit, relax, and enjoy.
Relax, and enjoy.
Very much enjoy.
All right.
Following special guest.
This is gonna take a second, and yell at me if the audio is off. All right, are we ready? All right, let's get this thing going. Okay. Got to switch this.
Looks good so far.
Switch this.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's gonna be a whole thing. Hold on 1 second. I gotta make this thing right. All right. Boom. All right, we're getting closer because we practiced this. All right, I'm gonna go and yell at me, Elliot, if we have any issues. All right.
Got it.
I got to go fast now. And remember,
Megan, this is for you.
All right. Okay. Boom. Okay. All right. Boom. Boom. Okay. Hold on.
I'm dying right now.
Okay. Hold on. We had a technical issue. All right, I'm back. I think I figured this out there, so hold on.
All right, Mark, you had one job.
I had one job.
This is how special this guest is, Megan.
It's so special that there has to be like this extra level of secrecy and insanity.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Can anybody hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay, hold on. I can't hear you guys, so hold on.
Are they in your house? What is happening?
So glad we tested this.
So far, the test has gone better than the real thing, but that's okay.
Is the guest in your house, Cheese?
In a way, he's sort of in everyone's house.
All right, hold on.
You've let something spill out.
Elliot, say something.
Okay, Mark, can you hear me?
Okay, I can't hear a thing.
We can hear you, even though you can't hear me say that.
This is great podcasting.
It's about to be amazing podcasting.
All right, hold on.
I love that we're building this up for Megan even more.
Okay, Elliot. All right, wait. Ladies and gentlemen, this is live TV. This is a big surprise. Hold on. I'm trying to make sure we can hear anything. All right. Elliot, anything? Say something, Elliot.
I can see and hear you, Mark.
All right, so the problem is that we do have a legitimate we have a legitimate problem. And the problem is when the test took place, because we did test this out, I don't think I had my headphones in. And now I started the show with the headphones in. And so now the whole audio thing is starting off. Okay. All right.
If we can restart the show if we need to. It is only 7:15.
We can restart the show, but this is what we're gonna do. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the anticipation.
Well, did you see it, Elliot? Did it come up?
We've seen nothing so far. Just you.
Nothing came up.
There's been no infinite screen like there was yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Haven't heard anything.
That's great because I thought I did it. Oh, I think I know what happened. Hold on one second. All right, I'm gonna try this again. We're gonna try this again. All right.
Podcast history.
We're gonna try this again. All right. It was nothing happened. Nothing happened. I got it.
All right.
I got it, Elliot. All right. Are we ready?
All right.
We're ready.
Special guest.
Megan
guest
is coming on. Megan.
This is for you.
This is for you. Boom.
Dude, you're frozen. Okay.
Megan, hello. Before we begin, I just want to let you know that I got a spray tan this morning, and it's at its peak of saturation before I wash it off and have a shower, and it looks more normal. So I want to apologize for this. I know it's blotchy. I'm going to put makeup on tomorrow. It's going to be a whole different scene. You won't recognize me, but this is the raw, unfettered me. And I had to come to you so unfettered. I didn't want one fetter to get in the way of what I have to say to you because it's so important. And it's not coming from me. It should never come from me because really I know so little about you. It comes from Elliot, who spells his name with one T, which is bold and brave and really an attack on the patriarchy. And Mark, who spells his with a C. Two rebels. Yours, Megan, is spelled normal. There's no H. There's no second A. And I appreciate you for that so much by keeping it simple. This is what they wrote to me to tell you. This is the category of pep talk. Are you feeling down? Do you need help? Do not worry. I am on the way. Me and whatever shade this is on the way. Megan, our favorite heel in heels, has begun her PhD program at UNC, or University of North Carolina. I just figured that out. Unless it's University of Northern California or University of Norman Connors. He was a good guy. Wrote a lot of good papers. Please send her congrats and encouragement. She's getting a PhD. The fuck does she need a pep talk for, Elliot and Mark? You two are idiots. You two should feel like idiots because you're in her intellectual midst. You're in her cerebral shadow, quite frankly. She's going to go on to such wonderful things. She got into the program. You guys couldn't, that's for sure. I don't have to encourage her about anything. I don't even have to congratulate her. She had her sights set on this because she's a goal setter. And you two are not. Write them down once in a while. Use a vision board or some shit. You know, they said with the vision boards and the shit like The Secret, people become addicted to the visioning and the planning of it. That is a little goal they set for themselves, and then that becomes a reward, and they're just happy they did that, and they don't take any action. That backfired, huh? Anyway, they go on to say, we host WCWF Pod, which stands for William Conrad's Wild Fun Podcast. You can talk about all the fun that William Conrad has in the wild parties. I was at one, and boy, I don't want to tell you what was in the toilet, but needless to say, they had to rip it out and replace it with a brand new one. It was beyond repair. Let me just put it like that. And that was in the afternoon. And we are huge fans. They wrote it all caps, so I know it's a lie. You've seen maybe one episode of AEW of someone you liked. You haven't watched the others because you don't like any other guests I've ever had. You're waiting for me to have, I don't know, Tito Santana or something. That guy's a scumbag. Please let her know how much her co-hosts Mark and Elliot appreciate her. Wait a minute. Are you guys going to play this? You going to play this on your podcast? you're going to double the content, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I'm going to sue the shit out of all three of you, and her PhD is going to be revoked. I'm going to talk to Norm Connors, the dean, and I'm going to have it revoked. Don't double dip. Don't try to monetize this, even though I'm monetizing, you're reverse monetizing, you're basically getting your money back off of the advertising. What do you want me to do? A sponsored reef of Blue Chew? You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Even more so than when I said it like 3 minutes ago. Please let her know how much her co-hosts Mark and Elliot appreciate her. I think it's pretty fucked that Elliot and Mark can't do it themselves. But I didn't expect anything of them intellectually or emotionally. They have not the capacity. Thanks, RJ. We love you. And also, a lie. You've hired me. This is a business relationship, and you should treat it as such. Just like Megan will treat this university, this PhD. She's there to become a doctor. She's not there to make friends. She's not there to hang out in the cafetorium or the gymnasium. She's there to... Listen, I don't even know what the PhD is for. I don't even know what you ever went to school for ever in your life. But I will tell you the secret for most undergrad and graduate programs. You read the book, you write about the book. That is it. So no matter what nerves you have, the intimidation, the pressure, just remember, they give you a book. You then read the book, and once you have read the book, you must write about the book. And all of a sudden, you're a doctor. That's why there's so many stupid doctors running around, because it's that easy to do. I'm sure you will do fine. And I absolutely know that you would do much better than Elliot and Mark could ever do. Congratulations, and I hope you're encouraged.
You guys! That was wonderful.
And we're back.
Absolutely wonderful.
Worth it, wasn't it?
Did it work? Did everything work?
It worked. It worked amazingly well. And I am just...
Yay!
Guys, thank you, RJD. We love you. It's not a work. We do love you extensively. Thank you guys so much. And what's funny is that is actually RJ City's second pep talk that he gave me. I sub to his RJ Makes Coffee in his underwear on Sundays. It's like $2 a month, and you like get on the chat, and you just want. It's a great little community. Shout out Heels. Nails. Nails is the girl that does the mods for that. I'm Heels. But like the day I left home was a Sunday, and he comes on every Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. on YouTube, and I was in the car crying leaving the house, and I was like, I'm leaving for my PhD program. Like, what would you say to someone that's like starting a new adventure? And he gave me this whole speech about how like stress and you stress your muscles when you worked out, and he was like, stress and this stuff, you're working out your brain. And so now I am like so full of RJ City energy that there's no way I can't finish this PhD now. It's just got to get done. And apparently it's super easy. I just read the book and then write about the book, and I'll have a name. So thank you both from the bottom of my cold heart. You are amazing.
There are few things that have occurred to me in life that have given me as much joy and excitement as receiving that cameo. We've had it for a week.
We missed it last week. We
had it for a week, and we've been sitting on it. I have had to like literally resist from sending it to you 700 times this week.
There were several Elliot pep talks.
Yeah,
I was like, don't do it.
So I have both sent and received a handful of cameos. That is as good as they get. Because he's as good as they get. We didn't know how to properly give our, because we did not have the emotional nor cerebral capacity, as RJ pointed out. So we got him to do it for us. Just a little way of saying we're so appreciative of you, so proud of you, and what you're doing for yourself and how you enhance this show, even more so by just making this a much better looking show. And I mean, if you weren't on, this would be a very ugly show. So you're great. We love you.
You guys are handsome. Stop it, Elliot.
And we're just glad that was something that we knew you would enjoy.
Well, I'm down here now, Carolina Graduate School. I started school my second week, and it's just been amazing and exciting, and it's a whole new journey. So I really appreciate y'all like supporting me and like understanding when I'm at the library at 7 and I'm like, hey guys, I can't go tonight. Like, y'all have been great and supportive through this transition, and I love you guys.
Well, I'm looking forward to lots of dynamites and rampages in DC, over the next, who knows? Yep. There'll be other, and the next, we got the next UEW event, which might be later on this year. So we'll need to have our buddy Chris on for that.
On Dark, October 26th, I want to say, we're going to have another AEW in Norfolk, which we have to go to.
Ooh, sure.
Like, I'll drive home for that one. I don't have classes on Thursday, so if it's Wednesday night, I'm there.
Mark, do we even talk wrestling tonight, or just celebrate this RJ City cameo, play it a second and third time for everybody?
We really don't have a show planned. There's a couple of the crew members said they want to jump on, and we told them around 7:30.
That's what we do. Talk shit about.
But yeah, we're really leading up. We're really leading up into Dynamite, which is the Mox CM Punk match. Last week was a big week in regards to Elliot figuring out what the hell was going on. He has convinced himself that MJF is coming back this week tonight.
So it might happen
between tonight.
Are you still
maybe all out? But yeah,
this is still your plan. You're still locked into this.
I am not sure MJF is coming back tonight to ruin this finale. They may have a clean finish tonight. What that would lead to All Out. They might have a dusty finish tonight, have a match at All Out, but I believe something is going on, and I've seen rumors of this online also. A lot of people probably have who follow this that there's rumors that Stokely Hathaway, who's been handing out business cards to everyone,
got me. And I think, like, let's talk a second, because we're going to talk about wrestling. I think the biggest tell for me on the Stokely thing of at least Bill. I don't know if it's for MJF. I really think it's for MJF, but if not, at the very least, it's like an anti-WWE guy stable was getting the Ass Boys to turn on their dad. They are like born and bred AEW guys. Billy Gunn, as we all know, came from a different promotion first. So that for me, like that just put the little nail in the coffin for me last week. I was like, oh, Stokely, I see you. I see you, sir. So I think that's
and I'm buying it also because if MJF and Tony have resolved some differences, if there's a contract in place, if they're working on handshake deals, whatever, that would be a very compelling story to tell. Mm-hmm. So like you can bring him back any number of ways, and another thing I sort of mentioned last week, that when done right, invasion angles can be very enjoyable. I kind of like what they're doing over in WWE. Dexter Lumis, teasing him every week. We don't need to talk too much into that. But when done well, we've seen it done both ways. We've seen very bad invasion angles. But when done well, when they bring the element of even the commentators don't know what's going on, like what's happening, that can be very entertaining. And I think, or when you have things going on that you don't know what it means, and then when it's revealed, if that's done effectively, it can work. And if that's the plan for MJF, it will be a fantastic payoff. Because let's not forget, MJF is the single most charismatic, best talker, best wrestler. Well, not technical, but one of the best guys out there. And everyone was saying it for a while. Hey, there's Tom.
Let's bring in the Ultimate Warrior here. And Tom, if you didn't see, we just had a RJ City cameo to wish Megan, our favorite heel and heels, wish her well as she has began her PhD program at UNC. So it was like a 6-minute RJ City cameo, mostly making fun of me and Elliot. But
oh my goodness,
that's how we welcome our special guest to the show. And Tom, now we're talking about whether or not, as we lead into AEW Dynamite tonight, which is the big CM Punk versus Mox showdown before a pay-per-view, Elliot has convinced himself, and I think Megan, have you convinced yourself as well that MJF is coming? This is an MJF angle.
I feel like it's okay if the MJF thing was a work the whole time, which I think it was.
Okay.
I think, or at the very least, it was a shoot that very quickly turned into a work, right? Then yes, I think it's MJF. If not, I think we were worked last week, and I think the Hangman angle is going to come in. So either he costs Moxley the belt tonight, or he costs Punk the belt. Some way that there's some sort of Hangman interference. I feel like it would most likely be costing Mox the belt, because then that sets up Hangman and CM Punk for either a triple threat with Moxley or just straight up into a Punk Hangman angle, which I honestly don't think is all that bad, because Hangman didn't have a lot going on up until this time. He was mostly just kind of, doing his thing with the Dark Order. There was the whole story with the Elite, but people had kind of said his run wasn't that great, or his run ended, kind of poorly. So whether it was on script or not, CM Punk calling him out did rocket Hangman to the forefront of conversation over the last week. So we can't forget the hanger.
So what do you think? What do you think, Tom, about
the thing that really jumped out to me was that it seemed odd that they would take what is possibly, if not probably, the biggest match that they could put on right now, and with a pay-per-view coming up, and move it onto Dynamite. The only way that makes sense is if they have some big angle that unfolds tonight that all of a sudden elevates the story and or the title picture even further. I think MJF makes the most sense of the options that seem to be readily available. There's always a possibility there's some player that we don't know is in the picture who's going to be in the picture, but I think the return of MJF is probably the most likely scenario, and that would I think it makes sense. Then the decision makes sense. I think if they just have a straight up match tonight and whatever the outcome is, and that's kind of it, then I question, like as I think I said in the group chat, I mean, that feels like a WCW circa 1998 move if there is no payoff that increases the attention of the angle. But yeah, the MJF thing, I think I agree with Megan. I think it's started off for sure as a shoot behind the scenes, and then they quickly pivoted and turned it into a work. I think they've been remarkably disciplined with how they've kept him off TV, because I think in wrestling in general, there's always going to be a temptation to panic and accelerate things, especially when you have something that is capturing the attention of the wrestling audience. So yeah, we'll see. I hope, as someone who wants AEW to do things that make sense, I hope that there is a big angle that unfolds tonight, and it isn't just a rash decision to put a big title match on Dynamite for no reason.
I think it has to be an angle. I am not convinced, as I was not convinced last week, that is indeed MJF's angle. That's the thing I'm still not sure about.
Okay, can I push you over the edge?
Yeah.
Then?
Yeah.
Okay, so following the Fire Me You effing work promo, there was immediate word backstage that MJF was to be taken off of all material. So he was cut from the Dynamite opener. He was cut from even his picture being in the background on YouTube video backgrounds and stuff. He was taken off of everything. In the last week, we not only saw FTR and Wardlow come together and mention the Pinnacle, we also, in the newest Road 2 video, which included footage of Mox and Punk fighting over the last, since they've both been in AEW, we did get our first glimpse. They had some footage of the dog collar match with MJF. So he has literally been pulled from everything, including even background graphics, since that promo. And this week we have gotten little glimpses of MJF back. So much so that I noticed. I was like, oh shit, that's MJF in the back, in this fight. This little bit of Punk thing that they're playing has MJF on it. And it was a notice that went out even to the Warner people that he was to be pulled from all promotional material immediately following that promo. So him being back on the Road 2 segment last night, even in the periphery, I think that's going to push you over the edge. I hope it does.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not pushed. I'm not pushed.
Well, Mark, I want to bring this up. If you're not pushed, and if you're of a fan base that doesn't that. I'm not saying you have.
No, I hope it's MJF. I just don't know.
Because if it's not, let's say Punk comes out last week, gives an unscripted promo about Paige. Right. Tony's back there hearing it. By mid-match, say maybe someone responded to that last week backstage. Mid-Dynamite last week is apparently when it looked like they had changed it to this Dynamite for the match rather than All Out. Did Tony panic and put it on next week? Because given what Punk said in segment 1, are we even going to make it to All Out? Is Punk going to have some problem? Is there going to be some issue that we need to resolve this situation a week early? Because if that's the case, and that's the alternative, that's bad news for everybody.
Yeah, I don't think that's it either. I think they probably set the match up even before, you know what I mean? In my thoughts. I don't think that it's a, 8 to 8:15 segment that changes the whole course of what a pay-per-view is. What I do think possibly, and hold on one second, let me just make sure I get the promotion here. What I do think possibly is that there might have been a panic set in prior to like the pay-per-view. So if you're reading the tea leaves of the last couple of weeks, I'm not saying this happened, but if there was going to be a panic, I don't think it's that Punk and Hangman can't get along. I think the panic is the other network over there is starting to do some things to get people excited, maybe get the band back together. We did have a little bit of a ratings dip on our Dynamite stuff over the last couple of weeks. If there's a panic, which I don't think there is, but the panic would be, let's put this match on TV to see if we can boost our Dynamite numbers. And I don't think they should do that. I don't think they did that. But if there is a panic, if like TG was saying, if there was a WCW type panic, I think it was more of, hey, look, we might be losing some momentum to this excitement of the old man getting booted out, and let's figure this part out. But I don't know. The interesting thing is, I tend to like the Stokely angle of this more because I love Stokely and I want him to be able to have some type of puppet mastery orchestrated type thing. I don't know if that's the main event picture. I just don't know. I'm not convinced. I haven't figured it out. The obvious would be MJF. You're exactly right about that. And I wouldn't be upset if it was the obvious because I like MJF.
I mean, I don't know. I give as much credit as you want to the dirt sheets, but I know today some stuff came out, I think of like the media scrums and stuff, and it was said that Jon Moxley is who pushed for moving the match up to today, that there was some initial pushback from Tony and CM Punk, but he was able to get everybody on board. So I don't know what we'll see.
I'm excited. I'm happy. I am legitimately excited for 8 o'clock.
I think the good news is the worst case scenario is that you'll get a great championship match on TV. Like, even if there isn't some angle, which of course I think there is, it's like it'll be at the end. It'll be like, "Whoa, that was a great match." And
no, the worst case scenario is we get a horrible match.
I'm thinking
an old
that's
horrible
unlikely.
CM Punk, horrible CM Punk, and like Mox just running circles around him. That's the worst case
above
scenario.
That. The worst case scenario for all of us, because we all love AEW, is there's dysfunctionality going on, and it's gonna eventually. We've seen that model. Sometimes it works gangbusters, but no one should have enough faith in Tony Khan, the Young Bucks, and Jon Moxley. I will say this: Cody Rhodes, so much better than Cody Rhodes may have been the most experienced one there. I think Cody may end up being more important than people realize when it's all said and done. The story about AEW is written because we are having some upheaval that a 3-year-old company shouldn't have unless it's not going to be a 5-year-old company. I'm actually extremely concerned right now. What are you saying, Megan?
ouch. Like
I'm worried. We should all be worried. I'm not bashing the product. I actually love the product, but and I've been saying this forever.
He has been saying this forever.
If Tony is unilaterally sort of running this company, and the only input he's getting about things is from the Young Bucks, and you guys know I'm not crazy about those guys either. I think they have their best interest in mind, and maybe one or two other people, but that's about it. I'm very worried about what the future would buy if this is how fast it can get out of hand by either bringing in Punk or changing one little move. So this is not good for anybody unless they figure it out.
Well,
it's a red flag for me.
They made the announcement that we had Tony Schiavone moving into a full-time talent relations role. A couple other people were shifted around and given more, full-time administrative positions moving forward. According to the internet, which, take it or leave it, there was like an all-hands talent meeting today before Dynamite.
Was there?
So I am hoping that there is more deliberate thought going into how they manage the company, how they manage their talent, how they keep their talent happy. Because, at the end of the day, we all love the product.
Love it.
It's my opportunity to watch wrestling. If it wasn't for AEW, I'd maybe be watching New Japan. But, there's no going back for me to the Fed. So, Tony Khan better get this shit together.
That's what I'm saying. I think Megan and I share these concerns. Let's also just not forget for a second, because we're going to talk about more, but Will Ospreay is on TV tonight also, guys.
Hold on. Look, Tom, you said you had something.
I was just going to say, along the lines of what you were all talking about, and if you've already talked about this, we don't have to delve into it. But one thing that along these lines that was a red flag for me is how Kenny Omega's return. Kenny Omega's return was, if you look at the level that he was at in the months leading up to his departure, obviously he was banged up and had to take time off. The way he was presented, the emphasis on him, the long-term storytelling, and then when he came back, A, clearly still hurt, no question. B, it wasn't. I'm not saying they didn't hype it at all, but it seemed the pomp and circumstance around his return was not at the level of what you would have thought it should have been based on where he was before he left, and also the position he occupies in the company. And so the thing that I kind of come back to is, again, is this something where it's Tony Khan and the EVPs sort of making a rash decision? Are they not really planning things out? Is it a bit of a panic move? What's going on there? I just feel like there are, I don't want to say mistakes because I don't know the whole story, but there are things that they are doing now that I felt like when they had, quite frankly, a leaner roster, they weren't doing these things. And I think they were maybe a little bit more creative and a little bit more focused is a better word than creative. And I think that now it's just, they're kind of all over the map and there's stuff that they do. And my biggest beef with AEW is, from a storyline standpoint, is there's stuff they do and it's like, oh, this is interesting. This has promise, whatever. And then they go 2 weeks and you don't hear it. And what happened to that? And then it comes back. And then it's, you know what I mean? So they're sort of all over the place. And I think to Elliot's point, I think that is a byproduct of a very small group of people maybe trying to spin too many plates, period. So,
well, all right, we've got to go soon because Dynamite is starting. But
we're leaning up to Dynamite, a very exciting Dynamite.
I will say with Kenny, I'm not sure yet. I think we'll see. But if you watched BTE this week, so a lot of people were saying, is Kenny still hurt, or is Kenny selling the I'm still hurt angle for some big payoff down the road? And when I watched BTE, they included match highlights, and they specifically included ones where it looked like Kenny wasn't okay, but they excluded the what was it right before? I forget what move it was right before the One Winged Angel, but he did something before the One Winged Angel. It wasn't wasn't super clean. And then he did the One Winged Angel, ended the show, or ended the match with Dragon Lee. So for me, and then also like parts of the bits were like Kenny running with, they were all running to do a big, like, I haven't seen you in forever, we're all hugging. And Kenny was like limping on his run, and it was like super over exaggerated. So I'm not quite sure yet with the Kenny thing. I do agree that his return in West Virginia, of all places, seemed a little out of place. It seemed a little underwhelming for what we would expect for a big, return for Kenny. But I'm really not sold on Kenny still being so hurt. Like I think a lot of that it's Kenny Omega. They're going to protect him. If he's not ready to go, he's not coming back, right? So I think that may be a storyline we don't know yet. And they do have really long-term bookings. So whatever I'm waiting to see it. Jury is out on Omega right now, but I'm just happy to have him back. I was thrilled to see the cleaner back on the screen. It made me very happy.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Elliot, we universally bashed that match last week. Pretty bad.
Yeah, for a lot of what Megan and Tom said, it was underwhelming.
Yeah,
for what you would expect for a Kenny Omega return. We said that we kind of walked away last week saying that crowd in Charleston, West Virginia, taking nothing away from beautiful Charleston. That was one lucky crowd that got the return of arguably a top 5 wrestler in the last decade and a half.
I don't know, and I don't know. Here's a legitimate question that I really don't know the answer to: is AEW, is that Tony Khan's 100% main focus at this moment? Because we know football's picking up, international soccer's picking up. He owns pieces of all these other things.
Yeah,
I don't know. Is he like an AEW 100%?
I think so, because he does not really have anything to do with running or having to do with ownership of the Jaguars. Yeah, that's really his dad. And is it Fulham is the team they own? Is that the team? Fulham?
I don't know. I know it's an international soccer team.
No, he is most directly involved. Like, what is his baby is just AEW. Whatever he might do with the other two organizations are ancillary compared to what his commitment to AEW.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I didn't know if at this time of year is his like is he being pulled to be in other places, like physically, like what I mean. But I'll be interested to see as we move into 8 o'clock. I'll be interested to see exactly how they play this thing out. Because here's the thing. Outside, I mean, I think it's the biggest match we could make. We went on a tangent last week whether this was the biggest match in AEW history from a, not the best match, but the biggest match as a part of a booking thing. Is this bigger than anything else that they've done, outside of probably Jericho Mox one of the first pay-per-views. But I'll be interested to see some of the other cool stuff. I think there's a lot of cool stuff happening especially if we're talking AEW, down card. Like, we talked about the trios tournament. We talked about some of the interesting storylines of what you're going to do with Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson. I think there's a whole lot of stuff.
Last week, the crowd got themselves way over with me with the "You're a Wrestler" chant.
Yeah. I think there's just really good stuff happening. The Miro House of Black stuff I think is really exciting to me. So I'm excited to see what, obviously, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Stark stuff. They still got to fix the women's division in many ways. They got to figure the women's division out,
which took a big hit with the loss of Chris Statlander.
Yeah,
again.
Yep.
So,
Statlander, damn your ACL. Okay, guys, I think that in honor of getting out of here in time to get a snack, take a bathroom break, get your TV set up, watch AEW. I think we got to do our heel of the week and get out of here because we have 10 minutes to Dynamite.
We're going to Dynamite. No, I'm good. I don't have any real, I'm thinking about it because so the big setup was this RJ City thing. I haven't really thought about anything else outside of making sure that we got Megan's message from RJ City. So when I'm going to give my face of the week, I'm just going to make it a face of the week, things that we're excited about. My face of the week is going to be Elliot the Collector for literally, like, you know, I can support things, but Elliot is the guy that comes up with all the, like, the ideas. He's like the ideas guy of this operation right now. And so he came up with the idea. We got the cameo. And then really the only thing I did was really try to make sure that Elliot didn't ruin this thing for literally 2 weeks.
It almost happened every day. It was almost sent to Jared.
Yeah, we had to kill,
sent
like,
it to you.
so last night, it was yesterday, last night.
Yes,
he's like, shoot him, I gotta send it to Jared. I'm like, no, you don't. You can't send it on your phone to her husband. I was like, this is insane. It was such bad planning. But we got it done. Elliot, you are my face of the week. Megan, you're always our face of the week. But and RJ City is our face of the week for really just coming through with this. That was awesome.
My face of the week. That was such an amazing surprise, such an amazing, like, supportive thing for y'all to do. So it meant a whole lot to me, and I really appreciate it.
Good. The good news I'd say to RJ, who threatened litigation, is we have no monetization. So it's just fine. It's just fine.
Suck 0 out of 0.
Exactly. RJ definitely a face of the week. Go on Cameo. Book him for your next cameo to somebody. He won't let you down.
RJ City makes coffee in his underwear every Sunday morning at 9:30. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's just fun. Hanging out and talking to people in the chat room. You don't even have to subscribe. You can just watch.
We'll end it with Tom in just a second, but real quick match recommendation of the week, because I thought about it on behalf of RJ. RJ City versus David Arquette from Hollywood Wrestling. I'll put the link on the page. They went about 13 minutes. RJ was very entertaining throughout.
RJ City's really a wrestler? Does he really wrestle?
He did wrestle, yeah.
Don't look at me like I'm crazy. I have no idea. I've only seen RJ City at AEW.
Yeah, I'll put that on. Go absorb some good RJ City wrestling content that's out there. Tom, who's your face of the week or heel of the week?
I'll second or third the RJ City call. I would say also about RJ City, I enjoyed, as always, his dramatic reading of It's Raining Men that he posted this morning. So I enjoyed watching that as well.
Okay, those come from the. I think I'm messed up. Y'all are frozen. I'm frozen.
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
I can hear you. All right, now we can't hear her. She's gone.
And she's gone.
Out of here.
Okay.
Elliot, you did an amazing job, as always.
Mark, you're an amazing producer. Thanks for getting it on the airwaves.
Technically, that was awful. It took like several breaks, and we had to figure it out. Tom, you missed literally a 10-minute break of me trying to get the video. Even after we practiced yesterday getting the video up, and I still screwed it up. So I'm a horrible producer.
I will send the video directly to Megan now, and I'll also send it. I'll send it to the group chat too, so everyone can see it too. Go follow us on WCWF Pod on Twitter, Wrestling Chat with Friends on YouTube. We're always commenting. We want to get some opinions. So engage with us
with the real guests. So you know what? Before we get out of here, we got 5 minutes till Dynamite. Tom, you didn't get to tell us what you're popping for this week. What are you popping for this week?
Oh gosh. Wow. Put me on the spot here. I think are we allowed to talk about WWE? I don't know.
Now we are, sure.
We are, yeah. Absolutely.
I really like what they're doing, sort of rebooting Kevin Owens' character. And I'm really excited to see. And I'm really excited to see where it goes. I thought it was crazy because he cut a promo last week, maybe, where he referenced the fact that he hadn't held a title in WWE in 5 years. And I was like, wow, that is insane. That is crazy that a guy at that level, I mean, with all the people who hold titles, that he has not held titles. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
What do you think about how the Dexter Lumis angle is going?
It's interesting. I think there's kind of two ways they can go with it. Either he's like a lone sort of psycho guy, which I think would be, consistent with his character and interesting. The other way they could go is they could do some bigger thing where sort of Triple H's NXT guys are sort of aligning into some kind of faction that's going to sort of I would call it similar idea to Retribution, except done correctly and way better.
Better than Retribution.
Yeah. And the thing that jumped out to me was like, well, the obvious move now would be you turn Ciampa, who's totally mismatched with The Miz, and I like The Miz, but totally mismatched. You turn him, I guess it would be face, put him back with Gargano, and then you have Theory and Miz, who are would be a natural fit, and then the two of them feud, and that could connect to the larger maybe issue of NXT 1.0. So I don't know. I like all of it. I like the way they've presented it. With Loomis.
They've got to figure out a way to get Ciampa Gargano at WrestleMania. I don't know how they do it, but they've got to get Ciampa Gargano. I would like to see them fight each other, not like as a tag team, but Ciampa versus Gargano at WrestleMania. I would love to see that. They got to figure that out.
Well, I'd rather see Ciampa and Gargano against
together
against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Aren't they bigger feud? Like, isn't the Ciampa Gargano thing much more like they hate each other's guts more than they like each other?
I think, and Tom, back me up if I'm wrong, but it seems like during their NXT careers, it was almost like 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, my recollection is it was really like a blood. I felt like that it was with Owens and Zayn, it was more like, we're best friends, but we also fight like brothers, and then, kind of back and forth. Whereas with Gargano and Ciampa, when they weren't a sort of a put together tag team, I felt like that was more like a clash of two guys who kayfabe hated each other. So,
right.
Yeah, but Ciampa Gargano would be an amazing WrestleMania match. I think those two are they've sort of destined for it in some way. So I think you do need to do that. But just to be able to see that is those two sets of best friends, bitter enemies, probably two of the most well-known like combination of friends that they've had in the last several years, plus just four dynamic wrestlers. I'd like to see them all in a ring together personally.
And this might ruin it, but the other day, I guess it was like a couple weekends ago, I watched the Ciampa documentary, the one of him coming back from neck surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And there, as much as they like were great like wrestlers and hated each other and like really made you believe how much they hate each other, they're actually really close. Yeah. Like Gargano was like the guy that he's on the phone with, like showing up at his house. Like they're really like we're in this together like the whole time through Ciampa's like neck injuries and Gargano's like having a baby. It's like it was really kind of usually something happens and you're like, oh yeah, this is wrestling. Like they really don't like hate each other. Like, but this was like to see how much they cared for each other through that whole thing. I was just like, well, this ruins it forever because it's like they have these great matches, but they really are like close friends. So, all right, fellas, it's going on 8:00. This is awesome. I'm so glad we were able to pull that off. Elliot, you're a champion. TG, great to see you, bud.
Yeah, man.
You as well.
So I'm actually going to be up in your neck of the woods for the next 2 days. So.
Oh, okay.
All right, man. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, we're out, guys.
Count it out.
Count it out. I'll do it. Ready?
Yep.
1, 2,